There are so many individuals making YouTube channels. Yep, I'm not the only one. Around 1 million, probably even in billions, of YouTube channels have been created, and for some of them, while they have been lost through time, you can still access them. While others, however, have been terminated, whether it's because of copyright claims, political answers, or just upright things that are illegal. In today's YouTube video, allow me to talk about some of the most infamous, the most interesting, and the most intriguing terminated YouTube channels. And there are some that kind of took me down memory lane, and I hope it does the same for you. So if you like this video, please like, comment, leave a comment. I read most of them, if not all of them. And you can go enjoy my social media where I post stuff regarding my YouTube channel or clips of the YouTube videos that you may have not seen. So with all that being said, please enjoy the video.
Hey, what's up guys? One and only Adolf Hitler here, and welcome back to another episode of Leaf's lovely fanbase.
Leafy is here, also known as Calvin, is a former YouTube content creator known for his controversial and often confrontational style of commentary. He rose to prominence on YouTube around the mid-2010s, 2015 if I have to pick a number, and became one of the most well-known figures in the commentary and reaction community. Leafy gained a large following for his blunt and unfiltered critiques on other YouTubers. From vegans to goth boys to dog fuckers, Leafy has done criticisms on everyone. Leafy's content was characterized by his distinct commentary style, which featured sharp criticism, his sarcastic humor, and of course profanity. He was particularly known for his roasting videos where he would mock and ridicule lower level YouTubers and often focused on their appearance, behavior, and their content. And despite generating controversy and backlash, Leafy's provocative content also attracted a large audience. However, Leafy's tenure on YouTube came to an end. Around 2016-2017, as YouTube's terms of service was starting to ramp up with their protectiveness, Leafy just disappeared. He just vanished through thin air. A lot of people believe that he left because he was no longer going to get monetized, and I can definitely believe that. However, Leafy's tenure on YouTube came to an end when he was banned from the platform in August of 2020. The ban came from Leafy's constant attacks against Pokimane, with YouTube citing cyberbullying as the biggest point of his termination. YouTube cited a pattern of behavior that violated its policies and its targeted bullying towards Pokimane. Following his ban, Leafy has maintained a relatively low profile online. He has made occasional appearances in other platforms. He's on Twitch, then got banned on Twitch. He went to Kick, where you can see a lot of his videos where he does and tries to attempt to do old type of videos, but it just turns into edgy messes with the chat saying the N-word. And apparently he was on Twitter, now known as X, and got banned from X because of the Israel-Iran confrontation. There is so much to talk about Leafy's. He's not just his influence, but just as a whole on YouTube. So I don't know if I'll make a big Leafy video, but he was a big part of my childhood. As a teenager who was barely coming up and watching him roasting these cringe YouTubers, you know, little kids to grown-ass adults doing weird stuff, I thought it was hilarious until you grow older and realize that most of the jokes weren't really funny, and some of it was not just mean-spirited, but just evil. With this ban, Leafy kind of just disappeared from the big major platforms. You can see, you know, re-uploads of his work as YouTube kind of took it down, but you can search him up and see maybe Leafy can work for you. But for right now, I'm kind of done with Leafy, and I think the internet is as well.
One thing that I miss more than anything is being a kid. Don't you miss running around all sticky from syrup and boogers or whatever?
Sneeko is a controversial social media figure who is known for his polarizing views and outspoken critiques on topics like masculinity, feminism, societal norms, and other stuff. Initially, he built an audience on YouTube with gameplay commentary, in which he then later focused on social commentary with popular series like his internet rants and Would You Say the N-Word for $1. His transitions, his motivations, and the way he made videos garnered a huge amount of followers until we get to the pandemic. Eventually, for some reason, Sneeko became more red pill and decided to hate on women, even though he purposefully got himself cucked. Yeah, kind of weird. But he's done pretty woke things. He's talked about multiple conservative views on gender roles and attacking the woke beliefs, and shared controversial opinions with guys like Andrew Tate and Aiden Ross. He even gave his stance on defending cuties. You know that one Netflix movie that had has underage girls acting sexual. Yeah, kind of crazy. And while he's not just a copycat, he even started to collaborate with these divisive figures like the Andrew Tates and the Nick Fuentes of the world. Sneako faced heightened scrutiny, eventually drawing Senate attention for allegedly promoting extremist content. And in YouTube, well, it's a permanent ban for you, as both his main and second channels were taken over in October of 2022. But his account unexpectedly was reinstated a year later on October of 2024. However, this reactivation lasted only a few hours, leading to the speculation that the lift was an error. Within these days, Sneako was banned from Twitch for extreme hateful conduct and subsequently from other streaming platforms like Kick, where he was reportedly accused of promoting misogynistic and anti-Semitic content. At first, it seemed that Sneako was gonna have kind of a renaissance period as he was going back to his old former content before the whole red pill manosphere type of videos he made during the pandemic. He started hooking up with Kanye West and, well, I think you can kiss those dreams goodbye.
Hey everyone, today I thought I'd break away from the adventures and do a little adventure of my own.
Alright, let's get a little saucy. Futuristic Hub, also known as Futuristic Hub on YouTube, is a content creator who gained prominence for his Minecraft animations and parodies. However, he became a controversial figure due to the mature themes and, let's just say, inappropriate content featured in his videos. Yep, you just saw Minecraft Steve laying mad pipe. Born amidst the Minecraft gaming boom, Futuristic Hub's channel initially targeted young audiences who are fascinated by Minecraft. His animations often depicted Minecraft figures engaging in comedic or action-packed scenarios, but it eventually started going wrong once Futuristic Hub's content began to draw criticism for its adult-oriented humor and themes. Many viewers and fellow creators condemned his use of slurs, sexual innuendos, and just explicit content, arguing that it was unsuitable for his primary youth audience. This controversy sparked debates within the Minecraft community and led to calls for YouTube to enforce stricter guidelines regarding content targeting children. In response to the backlash, Futuristic Hub's channel changed, with some of his more controversial videos being removed or privatized. However, he continued to produce content, albeit with a shift towards less explicit material. Nevertheless, his reputation as a controversial figure still persisted, and he faced ongoing scrutiny from both the viewers and the creators. But YouTube can only take so much pressure, as eventually they decided to terminate his YouTube channel. A lot of famous YouTubers like Turkey Tom tried to expose him, and they of course brought up, his inappropriate content, and also the fact that he was abusing the copyright system and trying to threat his harassers. It's very weird. Brian Martin also, Futuristic Hub, tried to come back as a channel known as Craftastic, but he eventually got terminated as well. And the thing is, I don't think it's even his first attempt. You could see multiple YouTube documentaries and exposed videos on him, and I honestly recommend to you for not just Futuristic Hub, but others like Leafy and Sneako, because there's so much to unpack, and I'm just honestly here to tell you why they got terminated in the first place. And as for Futuristic Hub, well, apparently he's got legal issues to deal with, so. Boots Made for Crushing is a YouTube channel that is, let's just say, very horrible. Originally operating under the name Boots Made for Crushing, he initially seemed, harmless, just showcasing videos of him stomping his big, heavy boots to, objects. It was kind of similar to, those hydraulic press channels. It's supposed to be, I guess, ASMR or aesthetically pleasing, or I guess pleasing to someone, I don't know. However, he had another account known as Boots666, which harbored a dark secret. This account was linked to an unlisted video on a Tumblr blog, revealing footage of him mercilessly stomping on small animals to death with his boots, catering to this disturbing sexual fetish known as crushing fetish. The titles of his hidden videos were shocking as well. It's like, big guy with big boot crushing little kitten, or patrol boots making you a little horny toad flat. It just depicted some gruesome act and crushing small innocent animals against concrete curbs or slabs. It was horrible. But eventually, it was found out when someone recognized that the boots used in the background were similar to the boots used by Boots Made for Crushing. And the matter was eventually reported on to YouTube, resulting on the permanent shutdown of both Boots Made for Crushing and Boots666. The severity of his actions cannot be overstated. It's horrible. Clearly, it's illegal as well, as there are laws to, I don't think send you to jail, but give you a huge fine, or at least get a punishment for abusing, animals. I think there was a law as well, called the Animal Crush Abuse Prohibition Act of 2010. Guys like Luca Magnotta have been doing weird animal killing videos. So stuff like this is sadly gonna happen, and is probably still happening to this day. And if you are unlucky to see one of these videos, I suggest just reporting reporting the channel to YouTube. The more reports they get, the more annoyed they'll be and finally check it out and see that it does break the terms of service. You know who also breaks the terms of service? This guy.
You sit back, you dress like a slut, you dress like a... That's not called being a pedophile. That's not, you know, being called a victim to goddamn pedophilia. You know what I mean?
EDP 445. Brian, what are we gonna do with this guy? EDP 445, also known as Eat That Pussy 445, initially rose to prominence through his YouTube channel, which predominantly featured content related to the Philadelphia Eagles and also made skits and stuff. And it captivated the audience as a lot of people enjoyed his comedy skits, his passionate rants about the team. It was all good. Eventually, things sadly happened. In July 2020, allegations of inappropriate interactions with minors surfaced, leading to widespread condemnation and speculation. Subsequent investigations and sting operations revealed damning evidence that he was in fact guilty of all these nasty crimes, including some of these crimes are explicit messages, explicit photos, and even attempting to meet the minors at one place. Yeah, no surprise that because of this, it resulted in the termination of his YouTube channels, and not just that, tarnishing his reputation. I guess after the fallout of this, people just started memeing the hell out of EDP. Now EDP's name is synonymous to pedophilia and pedophiles. His whole career, his whole livelihood is essentially ruined. He's tried to make comebacks, and at one point I thought there was going to be a successful one, but I think he shit the bed again and tried to contact another minor. Yeah, it's just so stupid. In 2024, the closure of his website marked yet another setback for Brian, and honestly, I don't even know if there's anything he can do. He can't really work a normal job because his whole face has been stained because of what happened. He can't make another, you know, pivot to anything else because he's a pedo. This guy's reputation has been shattered all because of a cupcake. ElsaGate YouTube channels were a phenomenon where a significant number of YouTube channels were found to produce and distribute disturbing and inappropriate content towards children. Similar to Futuristic Hub, the term ElsaGate is derived from the characters Elsa from the Frozen series and includes them doing, let's just say, very bizarre and disturbing situations. Elsa, Spider-Man, Batman, Joker, Harley Quinn, all these famous superhero and cartoon characters are used to be in these very questionable content. These content include themes of violence, sexualization, and other inappropriate material. Eventually, it was just too much, as multiple YouTube channels essentially tried to combat the ElsaGate phenomenon, and they kind of succeeded as a lot of ElsaGate channels were terminated. I tried my best to find some examples, but there was just too many to deal with it. Some of them, their names are like Kids TV, Super Kids TV, Fun Kids TV, stuff like that. And a lot of their channels were destroyed after ElsaGate took off, and those channels that did stick around had to really change their content as the terms of service kind of made it harder for them to get monetized, and if they can't get monetized, what's the point of making videos? Even till this day, there are still Elsa type videos you can see, not just on YouTube but in the YouTube Kids app, that I really suggest you guys, you know, if you do have younger siblings, kids, or anything of that are children, to be careful on what they consume on YouTube, because as much as YouTube does a good job to take out these disturbing channels, there are some that can get past YouTube's verification and, well, we get stuff like this.
I know I haven't uploaded in a very long time. That's because I didn't feel very well. But luckily I got a new medication script.
Venus Angelic, whose real name is Venus Isabel Palmero, is a Swiss-born YouTuber, model, and internet personality, known because she kind of looks like a doll, and also has content focused on makeup tutorials, fashion, her lifestyle, stuff like that. And she gained a pretty good popularity on YouTube in the early 2010s. Venus became widely recognized for her doll-like makeup techniques, which allowed her to resemble a living doll. Initially, Venus Angelic's videos attracted a large audience of women that liked, I guess, the doll aesthetic, and guys that found her attractive. She became a prominent figure in online beauty communities and amassed a significant following on all social media platforms. However, she is on this video for a reason, and Venus Angelic's online presence was not without controversy. One of the most notable controversies surrounding her involved her mother, Margaret, who played a significant role in managing Venus's online persona and career. Reports surfaced alleging that Margaret exerted excessive control over Venus's life and online activities, leading to concerns about her well-being and autonomy, as some viewers criticized Margaret for exploiting her daughter's youthful appearance. Take into account that Venus was a teenager at a time when she started making her YouTube videos. videos. In addition to the controversy surrounding her, Venus Angelic faced criticism for some of her content, which some viewers deemed inappropriate or controversial. Stuff like her being sexualized, because she was a young woman, and other unhealthy beauty standards led to these criticisms, with Venus continuing to maintain a sizable following and remaining active in all social media. Now, the interesting part is in 2019, Venus Angelic's YouTube channel got terminated, and at first I was really wondering what was the whole point of her termination. Initially, I thought Venus Angelic was terminated because of her controversial life outside of YouTube. She had a lot of issues with her mother, and apparently she was dating a guy way older than her when she was younger, but apparently she was banned because of some sort of content moderation or copyright infringement, which came to shock of everyone, including her followers. Eventually, following this YouTube termination, Venus Angelic just left YouTube and went on to Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and all these where you can still see her from time to time, but I think also her Twitter got terminated, which I don't know what happened with her. From what I gather, I think Venus and her mother's relationship is very, very bad. Apparently, she's also in an abusive relationship with another man who, let's just say, according to this Redditor, is pretty disgusting, and I heard that she's making porn, which, if that's the case, it's very tragic to see.
Venus Angelic update for you guys, and unfortunately it's really bad. So if you guys didn't know, Venus was deported from Japan a couple of months ago, and she's been in Switzerland ever since. People were really hoping that her leaving Japan would be a good step in fixing her mental health, because Japan has a really poor mental health system, and people were hopeful that Switzerland would be a good reset for her. So unfortunately that hasn't been the case. She's been drunk these whole few months she's been in Switzerland. She is constantly posting online about how she wants to murder her mom, she wants to murder her ex, that she wants to go on a mass spewing spree. She's been going on super racist tirades where she's just constantly using slurs over and over again. She's been posting about how she really idolizes certain serial unalivers. This is a post from her Instagram, and this is only really scratching the surface, you guys. I also have really no idea if Venus is still living in a mental health facility. I have no idea how she makes money, how she has a roof over her head, if there's anyone that is supporting her, because it doesn't seem like she has a job. It seems like she is constantly intoxicated all the time. On top of that, people have made the comment that it seems like she's posting this stuff to be edgy or something. But a lot of people are feeling a lot of emotions: sad, disappointed, ashamed, disgusted at her for the way that she is acting. Who would have thought this girl that posted these entertaining kawaii lifestyle vlogs would eventually become this person in the future? This is just so many levels of upsetting.
How this girl who went from a kind of idol beauty expert in the YouTube world kind of became a lolcow. I do kind of feel bad for Venus Angelic, because I honestly believe all the people in her life kind of really did her dirty. Her mother tried to use her as a cash cow for YouTube views and money, of course, and all the men in her life are weird, gross, older men, and apparently she's homeless now, and it's just a very tragic story, but that's how her story goes.
So I'm gonna try to be a little more down to earth in this video, less forced memes and stuff. I'll try not to be too generic though. Oh wow, I just can't believe it. Thank you guys so much for the support.
Lieutenant Corbis used to be a young girl who made YouTube videos back in 2015. She was very popular at that time as she was making pyrocynical, Leafy is here type videos, but this time as a 12-13-year-old girl. Of course, people were really liking it, and I think even Keemstar even commended her for a while. But she wasn't alone, because she had a friend and editor known as Vapor Up Boy. She frequently featured him in her videos and live streams, but later on, allegations surfaced online suggesting that he was the one who influenced her politically. And despite her return in 2022 with her channel known as Corbis that's been terminated, let's just say her videos are quite interesting. And yeah, apparently she's gone to the right-wing, extreme right-wing rabbit hole, with YouTube deleting her channel on August 1st, 2019, citing violations of hate speech policy, leading her to stream on censored TV. Soph faced controversies including accusations of Islamophobia, racism, homophobia, and all those interesting things, with even her Discord revealing Islamophobic remarks, and she attracted further criticism for her comments during a debate with another YouTuber. Also, I have heard of Lieutenant Corbis by No Fuckers, the Russian guy who is similar to Pyrocynical and Leafy is here. He's another commentary channel, but this time Russian style. Eventually those two got into a beef, and apparently things got really crazy. But before making her other YouTube channel, she started making threats to YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki. Eventually she created a new channel known as Soph and conducted interviews with very interesting figures. However, that channel was also terminated after uploading controversial content referencing multiple manifestos of mass shooters. And despite her ban, she occasionally posted bonus content in BitChute and Censor TV. Those channels were a lot of right-wing people go to when they get banned from YouTube or Twitch. I'll talk about Lieutenant Corbis a little bit later, but it's very interesting to see how a young person can just quickly switch up from being a prominent YouTuber to a controversial figure that eventually gets banned, one of the biggest major platforms of all time. Shannon Margaret Campbell, known online as Creepshow Art, gained prominence on YouTube for her commentary, art, and storytime videos. However, her career took a tumultuous turn when she was exposed to racist and transphobic comments, backstabbing friends, and stalking Emily Artful for over a decade. Despite collaborations and inspirations from other YouTubers, Shannon's controversies, including spreading misinformation and false accusation, overshadowed her content. Despite attempts to defend herself and discredit her accusers, Shannon faced overwhelming backlash and condemnation from her fans and fellow YouTubers. Creepshow is just another example of be careful what you put on the internet. You know, a lot of people forget that they already left a footprint in the internet from a long time ago, and once you thought something was okay to say, might not be okay today. And as much as I really do feel that sometimes people can learn from their mistakes, it's natural. Sometimes the way you react and you deal with the situation can also affect how you are presented as well.
Hello there, guys. I have returned from a very long hiatus. It's me, Veronica, also formerly known as Avalion, but shh.
Avalion, also known as Veronica Brouchard, gained widespread attention ever since she was earned the moniker known as the most racist girl on the entire internet, thanks in part due to her beef with Leafy is Here. Her notoriety stemmed primarily from her YouTube channel Avalion, which garnered 62,600 subscribers and almost 2 million views in less than 2 months before being deplatformed on May 17, 2016, most likely coming from the hate speech she was speaking. This is the same person that made multiple videos discrediting Jews, people of other races, and of course the Happy Birthday Hitler.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Adolf Hitler. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. After the termination of her YouTube channel, she basically just decided to be on the internet. Even though her videos were characterized to be cruel, abusive, and in some cases revolting in nature, her weird beliefs of denying the Holocaust, being a white nationalist, and other horrible things, she still had a pretty big fan base, or at least a big loyal supporters to help her within her moves. And also, she is a young lady. I think she barely turned 18 when that whole situation was happening, so that basically fueled and gave her the energy to do and post all of these crazy videos. Major media outlets such as Vice, Express, and the Daily Mail covered her story, in which she was interviewed by the Global News in November 2016, and in 2017, Bouchard distanced herself from her white nationalist persona and renounced her racist ideology, leaving behind the Avalion persona. She says that she is now a quiet life housewife who does freelancing for video editors, is a graphic designer, and even an astrologer, and in one point in the 2020s, she started making videos about how she kind of feels ashamed of what she did. It's really weird seeing how she feels kind of disgusted on what she did. She isn't fully regretting what she posted back then. She still agrees on certain ideologies, so she's not going to be protesting with the Mexicans or helping other minorities, stuff like that. But her feeling kind of embarrassed is similar to a guy rewatching videos of him Naruto running, or some girl looking at her horrible cosplay when she was a teenager. A lot of her videos can be seen in BitChute, and I try to look at it, and a lot of them ever since her return is kind of weird. She pivots, but not a whole 180, more like a 65 degrees if I'm being generous, and I guess she saw the error of her ways. Maybe this is because of motherhood. She did say she was pregnant and how she got big boobs and stuff like that. But eventually, when trying to find out information about her last post was in 2024 in November during the elections, where instead of, how can you say, supporting Trump, she she was talking more about the astrological side, where she was saying because of his sign and the stars aligning, he was gonna win and this stuff was gonna happen, in which while some things did happen, some things were clearly very wrong, and you could see her TikTok. Her Instagram is still available, where she has her paintings, and her Twitter is honestly, I think, deleted. When I first made this video, I saw her Twitter and it was still active. Something must have happened, I don't know what, but yeah, she's still out there. I guess one of the most important things to find out about this, and not just Avelion, but also Lieutenant Corbus, Soph, is that how dangerous it is for women in the online entertainment realm. You know, at one point you decide to do one thing and you just pivot to something just completely different. It's so strange how Avelion, who was kind of corrupted at a young age, kind of decided that she was gonna do this, and is now looking back like if she was looking at embarrassing high school pictures. It's very interesting. And as for Lieutenant Corbus, you could see how negatively it's impacting her, not just viewership wise, but also mentally as well. And you could still see it with other YouTubers over here. I don't know how Creepshow Art is, but I don't think she's doing quite well, and look at what happened to Venus Angelic. Having your YouTube channel terminated is very, very serious. A lot of these YouTubers that I'm talking about here are trying to find ways to go back to how it used to be and trying to recapture the glory of how it once was. Leafy has been cancelled to almost every platform ever. There are so many exposed videos of him. EDP can never have his life from its former glory ever again after those pedo accusations. Futuristic Hub, Brian, he's also persona non grata, and you saw how it was with these girls. I guess the moral of the story of this video is be careful what you post online. Yes, saying those extremist things is fun and is looking good on your bank account for the moment, because later on you're gonna suffer really badly, because I can definitely see them turning into an isolated, introverted human being who now has to look over and be careful who they talk to because, you know, you made fun of a minority. And or if you're trying to do better, like Avelion, no matter how much you pivot and explain why you feel bad for what you did, it's honestly not enough. Also, she compared herself to Danielle Bergoli. So that's all for today, ladies and gentlemen. If you want more information, I suggest watching, you know, multiple videos on these people right here. I kind of gave you guys a summary on why they got terminated and also what happened to them after the termination, and even some information on what they're doing right now. It's very crazy how half of these people I've known since I was a teenager are now going broke or honestly on the run for whatever they're trying to deal with. You know, the whole Venus Angelic thing it's very sad, but it is what it is. And all the others like Leafy is here, EDP, and even Avelion and Soph, they dug their own grave, so it's very hard to feel sad about. But that'll be all for today. Thank you guys for watching. Again, like, comment, subscribe. My social media is right here. You can send me, you know, a comment or two if you want information about my videos, or if you want have any requests of some sort. I do cover YouTube type of informations like YouTube channels and YouTube events, so if you want more information about that or anything creepy or anime wrestling related, you know, I have those stuff too. Please look around my channel. With all that being said, thank you guys for watching. Bye.